Hey everyone, did you know that the quality of your website code can determine your search results? Google grades your structure, and what that means is the sections that have been designated in your site, as well as the actually the coding capabilities of the people who develop or maintain your site. There's little giveaways in the way that the tags are structured, as well as things like inline CSS instead of using a CSS file, which is the current best practice. Google wants to see who's using the latest techniques and who isn't. And it doesn't mean that they're going to give you a failing grade, but when you're coding your website or choosing who's going to code your website, you want to choose someone who is up on the latest trends and who understands what the current techniques and optimization types are. It's really about current standards, and that plays a really important role. Also, it helps if they're on top of trending and emerging technologies. It's an important thing to be aware of what's coming and to be trying new things and showing off, especially new features of search engines. Sometimes they're rolling out new social media tags or something that you may not necessarily think is important, but Google likes to show off their own features, and this was actually a topic of a previous Facebook Live. But the idea is that the people who are adopting new things that they want to show off may get preference from Google. We don't know for sure if they do that. There's been suspicion that that happens, and so if it's not much extra effort for you, I'd recommend taking a look into that. There are some new trends over the last few years with WordPress, and since there have been the evolution of frameworks for mobile or responsive design, and some of the JavaScript files or CSS files, they tend to get quite large depending on the size of your site or features that you're using. You want to look at removing code that you're not using. For example, if you're using Bootstrap, there's a lot of features in there that you may not actually be using. So it would help your site to be leaner if you were to be able to go in and remove what's not actually being used. We call that optimizing, but there's also something called minification, which is the shrinking of the files, because there's a lot of extra white space and that makes the files larger. Of course, larger files take longer to load, and they affect the overall performance of your site. What you want to keep an eye out for are things that you might be missing that your competition isn't. And that's really the key here, is keeping an eye on what they're doing, and really being aware of what's going on in the industry, and so that you don't miss a step. And it's all about staying ahead of the competition, right? And one of the main points of that is knowing that they're not ahead of you in some area that you're lagging in, or that you need to pick up the slack. So hope you have a great day, and I'll see you all tomorrow.